Incorrect when
I know
it's
you keep. Oh, now you're going too far.
I can't help it. I'm not trying to move.
There, you want me to hold?
Yeah, here, you hold on one end, and then I'll here. Now I'm locked. Okay, perfect.
There you go.
All right, so now I'll just.
Now we're like all locked in place.
All right, so I figured
If
out
I hold you like this.
I figured out how to stay still. I've just got to dance like Dance Gavin Dance right underwater.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sitting.
Okay, you're sitting.
I'm trying it. I did it.
Okay, there we
Fine.
go.
Yeah,
there we
better.
go. See, maybe that's the best
Ooh, I
way.
don't have to do anything.
How about
here.
Dylan, our host? You want to start?
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna start us. I'm gonna start us. Hold on. I gotta. All
If I
right.
flip backwards, I'm dead.
Yeah, you're donezo.
It
Well-
doesn't recline.
Okay. On three, boys. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome
to the Effin' Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Camacho. Today with us is Water.
A lot of it. A lot of it.
We're on site. With me, as always, is co-host Mason, Nathan, and Price. They are
present.
all here. Price, hold me. You got it.
I am.
I'm drifting.
I'm drifting.
Nathan,
I need an anchor.
what movie are we appropriately reviewing today?
Well, today we are going to be talking about Waterworld.
Is that the one with Russell Brand?
Yeah.
No, it's Kevin Costner.
Get him to the Greek.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that movie though. Can we
They
talk about
made
that?
that movie after Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It was ridiculous.
It was a comedy.
It was.
I like comedies.
We're not talking about that right now, guys. We're literally in the ocean for Waterworld.
Literally struggling to stay in shot.
Yeah.
And this is our most ambitious video at.
Hey, we've got our life jackets on, by the way. Mine's just down.
I don't know how he thought that was going to go.
Price is no longer with us.
Yeah, this is how we get rid of
still
prices.
here.
The sun's beating on my eyes right now, so this
Yeah,
is.
I keep thinking if I pick post-apocalyptic movies,
Yeah.
eventually it's going to edge price out. But apparently, water is really what's going to do it.
Yeah. Waterworld might be his last review
I'm
yet,
gonna bump.
guys. But oh boy, Mason's
Not
here.
even
Mason's here.
intentional.
Oh, boy.
Mason.
Mason's here. Oh,
Where are you
Bye.
Yeah.
So anyway, Nathan, for those at home who aren't sure what Waterworld is, can you tell them what it is in 10 words or less?
Nah, we'll give you
Mad
30.
Max on water.
Bingo, guys! If you want to know what it
Number
is, it is exactly Mad Max on water. There's really no better way to
Yeah,
describe it.
that was the goal. That's
That- yeah.
literally the stated goal of
Yep.
this movie was to be Mad Max on water.
I dig it.
And
They
they,
did well.
yeah,
I think they did pretty well with it. you
Yeah.
know?
I think they stuck the dive too.
Yeah.
You know? They got a.
They got
That's
a
a
10.
water pun. Guys, we're in the water for this review. I don't think you appreciate this enough.
I know we keep floating around. I'm having to hold these two
The whole time. Just keep bobbing like
I know
this.
I wait until the end of the video for this, but if you could like and subscribe right now for the work we're doing on this video alone, that would
We rented a
really.
houseboat.
Yeah, we bought a houseboat with all the finances. You know, we're doing
Yeah,
okay, but
yeah.
we kind of tanked. This was an all or nothing
you know,
investment.
we're like Mr. Beast. We reinvest every bit of money that we make
Mr.
into the
Beast.
next video.
Exactly.
Just like Mr.
Can we
Beast.
can we just talk about the movie?
Yeah,
already?
let's get into the movie, guys. Sorry, we're entranced by this new type of review standard. We're breaking the molds, but let's talk about this movie. Mad Max on Water is how Nathan eloquently put it. How did we all feel about this movie?
Solid.
I know I'm probably gonna be the outlier here. I was not a fan.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, boy.
How was
It's
it?
a movie that on and off through the years I've been like, this is probably a bad movie, just in my head.
He picks
but
these all
then-
the time.
But then I go and I rewatch it and I'm like, you know what? That's actually a pretty good movie. That's actually a pretty great movie. I want to hunt down all the rest of the deleted scenes and see
I
what
gotta
else
find
I'm
the
missing.
Blu-ray.
Yep.
So, I mean, the one thing I'll have to give a lot of credit for this movie is all the practical stuff they did with it.
Totally.
Making an island.
Goodness, but when they use CG, they use CG, and
Woo.
it looks absolutely horrendous. But especially that shark that comes up to eat.
What's her name?
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
There was a chick.
But yeah, all the practical
it was
effects
Kevin
are
Costner in the water.
incredible. Especially
Yeah.
the floating city.
Yeah, so
was
the
awesome.
atoll
Yeah.
is one of the biggest set pieces of this movie.
And they use it for like 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, that's the crazy
That's
thing. Is
it.
like it cost them a tremendous amount of money. They used literally all of the steel in Hawaii to build it, and had to import more. And then it got hit by a hurricane, and they had to rebuild it because they hadn't finished shooting in it.
And then they shot it literally with bullets.
Yeah.
And blew it up, basically.
Honestly, that's the best way to do something in Hollywood. You just make something for it to be destroyed later. That's pretty par for the course.
So,
kind of-
speaking of the atoll, one of the things that I don't think they show you much of that I think is kind of interesting is there's a big tree on this atoll. And at one point, why can I never think of the main character?
He doesn't
Don't
have a
worry about it.
name.
It's Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
So
Kevin
anyway,
Costner.
Kevin Costner, he sees this drawing that this little girl has done, which I guess we need to get into like what this movie really is. It's the search for dry land. With a very unwilling main character who has no interest in finding dry land because he's got gills behind his ears.
He's a mutie.
He could care less about the rest of humanity.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
All right, so let's get into that. I want to get into the character because that is by far the thing I did not like the most about this movie.
Him?
Because at the beginning of the movie, he's like giving us to be as like this like guy who doesn't care about anybody. He just cares about surviving, stuff like that. I enjoyed his character up to that point, but then we get the love interest in the stupid little girl. So, like, they get onto the boat with him, and he's like, I promise to get you on my boat, that's it. Like, one of you's going to have to go overboard because we don't have enough water. Because at the beginning of the movie, the first shot you see is him peeing in this converter because water is such a scarce resource, and he converts it into...
Hydro.
He converts it into...
Hydro.
Pure hydro.
And he converts it into water, so you see how scarce it really is. So when he brings two people on and they have to go on this big expedition, he's like, well...
I mean, do they not make their own pee?
No, but like...
If anything, he should be swimming in hydro
he
at that
keeps,
point.
but he keeps saying,
But
like...
the converter's broken.
He keeps
That's
saying
one
there's
of
not enough, like, resources. And then in the course of, like, 5 minutes, they have this awful montage of them bonding, which I do not understand.
Hey, keep in mind what he's saying about montages right now for next week.
Yep, gotcha. That's fair.
Anyways, yeah, but like, I think his
Okay.
character gets more and more humanized, like, after he does have that interest. Because, like, I'll agree, like, that girl...
But the interest doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those ones where they don't really have the chemistry, right? It does.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. But, I
It's-
mean, it's a weird world.
But, and hopefully I'm not taking Nathan's point, but there is a certain level where it's like, sure, he is this nomad on his own in the sea, but there's a semblance of an honor code that he seems to kind of be following here, right?
Oh, he definitely does.
And the trader system all the way up until, like, he literally doesn't have to or really shouldn't because he's going to get killed. Like, there's that moment where he's like, all right, I'll be a decent human being on this one. I think it's more of a not great done, but kind of done character study of showing, you know, the development of morality, kind of what you're going for.
No.
But I meet you halfway on saying that I don't think the love interest of the girl are
Yeah.
particularly great.
It wasn't great.
It's very, you know, it's cookie cutter. Like, okay, this is how we make a character feel human, is that we have them relate with these two characters.
Because otherwise he wouldn't
Well-
have had the little girl on the boat that whole time at all. Like, he probably would have just thrown her... Because he doesn't need the map. He doesn't need, you know, the mouths to feed. He doesn't need
Not
it.
only that, he also doesn't believe that dry land is a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of the other things that I feel like I should add in as far as like the flaws of Kevin Costner's character, a lot of it is due to Kevin Costner. The reason the director of this movie left halfway through is because of Kevin Costner's insistence on the kind of character that he wanted that person to be. So a lot of the like struggle between this like loner and this
Family man.
lovable, family man-esque sort of character is due to the conflicting ideals that were on set for that character.
And it definitely shows because it seems like the character has two different personalities. One
Yeah.
of which is the one I definitely bought, which is like this kind of honor-bound guy who doesn't like care about too many people, but he honors the code of the sea because
Totally.
you see that. But then when he gets that romance and gets this little family unit, no, that
So, okay.
didn't work for
Can
me.
we agree though, Price, that like for basically every other scene was cool, like the chasing scenes,
That's
the
but yeah,
smokers.
that's not what I'm talking about though. I'm not saying like I hated the movie overall. I'm just saying like
Yeah, but
that
I'm just trying. I'm
dynamic
trying to find some redeeming
really took
qualities
me
from you. Like, did you like how his sail
Yeah.
like unit where he had to like pull a lever?
I
And
mean,
do
the
all that
ship
crazy
is
stuff?
sweet.
Yeah, the
No
ship
ma-
is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And how he
super
looks
cool.
so at home on the boat is really cool.
You could
like,
tell he was a nautical soul.
yeah,
you know, like
which is really cool. Like he didn't seem like he was like acting on a boat like that. It looked like his home.
I agree.
And it might have been his home. I mean, he spent $22 million into this movie, so he could have lived on there for a while for all we know.
No, he lived in that villa. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's
While
right,
the casting crew were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
living on the boat.
Yeah, but they also towards the end, whenever they do finally find dry land, he talks about how the land doesn't move right, and the little girl refers to it as land sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of funny.
It was cool too. Like Katie and I were watching it, and like once he finds that city, that's basically huge, and he hasn't been on that thing in a while. Like he has like those sea legs, right? Where they even take a moment to like watch him just sort of be like, whoa, hang on, which would happen
Yeah.
at sea. I mean, it's the same thing if you get on a cruise ship or one of these little boats. Like, you do have that weird balancing issue.
What boats? The polar ice caps have melted, and we are now Waterworld.
Yeah, what boats?
We've melted the polar ice caps for the sake of this review.
We've done it. We've done it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk a little bit more on, the antagonist of these movies, right? Because it starts off with that Australian guy for like
Deacon?
Yeah, but then it's right before Deacon, so Deacon's a sweet eye patch guy, right?
Yeah,
But then it
Deacon
starts with
was the guy that got his eye shot out.
It starts with like the right hand man guy, because I don't know, something about 80s movies shot in '95. They needed to have like
that
B.
hair.
They needed to have a B villain, right? They're
That
like
hair is awful.
It is so bad. And the hair sticks out most in this whole movie.
Oh yeah.
For a movie that is in the mid '90s,
I love it.
How 80s it feels. Again, that's by design, but
it also didn't date itself. Like, it didn't sit there and say, "Oh, this is 2071."
Yeah,
right.
Like,
it doesn't at any point tell you when this happened.
which is
Yeah.
fine. That's why I think they get away with it.
if I didn't know this movie was '95, I would have said 80 anywhere.
On the way
anywhere in that
here,
decade.
I guessed that it was made in the 80s, and everyone was saying it was 95.
Yeah.
So I was on that train. But, I mean, you don't need to go into movies knowing what year they
So,
are.
For sure.
speaking of villains, if there was a character that I thought Price would like, it would have been.
Why do we keep
Deacon?
mentioning me? I'm not going in to
Hey,
hate
I
this
think-
movie.
I know. I just
Okay,
as
but
I was
you're
watching
the one
it, I
with the
was like,
list.
I feel like the humor of that character is something that you
Oh,
might have
Deacon
found
is
funny.
Yeah.
solid.
Deacon was
He
Yeah.
was
fun.
hilarious. I loved his character.
Yeah.
And how he's got all these little kids helping him on his
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was just so strange.
I kind of love even just at the end, like it's so symbolic of him as a character as a whole, where he's just like, I'm not gonna tell them that we don't get a plan or anything. It's gonna take them a good couple months before they figure that out. We'll figure
We're
it out.
just
by
gonna
then.
have them row.
Yeah,
That'll
exactly.
keep 'em
They're just
motivated.
literally rowing to who knows where, and they're like, they'll probably forget by then. Like,
So,
Deacon is a blast in this movie.
So did y'all notice that ship was also the Exxon Valdez?
Yeah.
The one that had the big oil spill?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, no.
And the captain that they, like, I don't know if you saw, like, the brief moment where he, like, kissed his fingers and, like, tapped it on that portrait of the captain of the
Oh,
ship
yeah.
there.
I was wondering who the hell that was.
That's the
That's
actual...
in my notes.
That
I
was the
like, who
actual
is that?
captain of the Exxon Valdez.
His name was like Jack O'Sullivan or something weird.
Yeah, I forget exactly
Or
what
Joe
the name was,
something.
but I did look it up because I was just like, okay, is this guy like the real captain of that ship? And he was.
That was the most random
It's-
part
I
because they
kinda
never
love
mentioned
that,
him. He
though.
just kissed
So
his forehead.
here's the other thing too, the Exxon Valdez disaster happened before this movie, so like it was also just very much
Right.
like they did that on
Dang.
purpose.
Okay.
It feels very like. Did Kevin Costner create the Exxon problem? Like, is this, did he foresight this movie? Did he Simpsons this
What,
movie?
was he trying to like do some kind of guerrilla advertising?
Right,
Maybe.
right. He's like, go watch this movie. Look what we predict. What, Costner, that's a little extreme, don't you think? No, I got 22 million from this movie.
Yeah.
So what did you all like the love interest? Like, you think, like, acting wise?
That girl
or you
was
think-
basically the worst, like in the worst situation, just because like she was fully ready to just give herself up to
Yeah.
whatever and however, which was bad. Like that's not a good feeling anyway. But like, yeah, I mean, they're not gonna have the chemistry because she's been used to this random lifestyle for 60 or not even 60, 30
Probably her
years.
life,
Yeah,
yeah.
30 years of her life.
Yeah, but there's no chemistry between her and Kevin Costner.
There's
Yeah.
probably
at
not
all
any chemistry
anyway.
in any guy that she's ever been with.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like their kiss, the romantic kiss.
Oh, the
was-
underwater breathing
was-
kiss?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Kevin Costner's just like, yeah, I'm just keeping you alive, and she's like, wow, I'm interested now
Yeah,
for some reason.
I mean, again, that's kind of like that 80s trope with it. Like,
You're
they're-
saying 80s trope, but this was made in 95.
No, but it is a movie with 80s in mind when it's filming, right? They want it to feel like an 80s trope in that way. And I'm
So they
not...
probably started this production in like early 90s. So I mean, it
It
wasn't.
just took too long.
Right,
It did.
right.
It probably took 3 years.
At least. I mean, this movie, yeah, probably took
My
a
goodness,
hot minute.
if they did everything you guys were saying,
So no, it was filmed in a year, like less than a
that
year.
was in a year, and
Yeah.
they had that many issues.
Hollywood's impressive, guys.
Well, they had 3 threats of hurricanes and only one that actually caused damage.
Well, if you're filming for a year,
But
there's
the
gonna be a hurricane
like
season.
the film
Yeah.
time, the expected film time was like not even close to how long it ended up taking them.
Yeah.
Like they didn't think that it was going to take them almost a year to do it.
All right.
I would not have guessed that.
They're like, yeah, we'll knock it out in 3 months, and then 1 year later, okay, we were a little off schedule. But
So
kind of
what-
like Deacon, he's like, no one noticed, we'll just keep pumping money into it.
One thing that's cool too is like the boat that he's on, the one that we all like so much. Like that's an actual racing style boat. It has like the 3 things, and it's all just sails. So they actually race those in New Zealand and Australia, and they're fast. So that whole scene where they were running to the side, that's how they turn. Like they actually carve into the water. So I really like that.
Huh.
That's a modern thing. I didn't know if they
so
raced
the whole
back
thing
then.
of him like getting off onto that seat and like
Yes.
pulling himself sideways. That's
Yeah.
literally how they turn it.
Yes.
So
Well,
whenever
that
he
plus
goes to the top of the
sails.
rail, does he just grab the thing and fly on up? Be
If you
Batman
watch
repel?
too, like they always have like 6 or 8 crew members that help, like
Yeah.
because those
Yeah.
sails take more than just one person. To
Oh,
run
yeah.
around.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I did like that part, and those things can outrun a lot of things.
All right, let's talk about the best scene of the movie, which is 30 minutes into the movie
Oh.
when the Smokies attack the
that
city.
city.
Yeah, smokers attack the city. and it's
Easily
just-
the best
I mean,
scene in my
it
opinion.
was the most exhausting scene.
Yeah,
it was
just-
big.
It had the big Mad Max problem of not knowing when to pace, right? It was just
Yeah.
like, in all action.
But I like that. I mean, good grief, there was like 40 minutes of nothing
Ooh.
after where they have to tell you that Kevin Costner loves these people now.
This movie has a lot of issues with pacing all across the board. But yeah, the action part in that part is...
It's just them throwing everything they have, including actual kamikazes at them.
Yes.
And then the way that they
The
lose,
water skis.
the way that they
Right.
lose is Kevin Costner pulling the machine gun, shooting them.
with
Yeah.
with that cool racing boat.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
Oh,
like
so funny.
the only part that I didn't like from that whole scene was like his rescue was like, you know, he was barely being able to breathe. She rescued him. That's fine. But even when they were leaving, all that chaos that's happening with them having that big boat that's trying to fit through that gate that's only this big, and then they had to get off. They had to go up to the top. They had to, you know, unwedge the lever thing to make the door open.
You're
more.
saying it took too long?
It did take a little long for how much crap was happening.
Right.
Like it was a little
Yeah.
strung out.
Armageddon is happening.
Yeah. Literally shots
It's taking
everywhere.
for everywhere.
Water ski people just going nuts.
Meanwhile, Kevin Costner's sinking into the oatmeal.
Yes,
Right.
into the weird gooey oatmeal.
So what is that?
Trash.
They kept saying like into the like what were they doing? Really
Pretty much like the
recycling,
primordial pit, but it's just like
Yeah,
a...
basically they're like throwing all the organic matter they can.
But what do they do with it?
They're probably trying to
just
Probably
grow
just
algae.
trying to build a new land or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh.
I know.
Okay, sure.
They literally had a tree, a big tree.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of that tree in the atoll, there's like a couple of cut scenes. At one point, the smokers are taking chainsaws to this tree and cutting it apart.
I did not see that.
Yeah, that's not in the
There
regular.
is-
Oh, okay.
That's not in the
that's not
regular.
the
So I
right.
saw that there's 3 different cuts. There's the Kevin Costner cut, which is the theatrical one.
Yeah.
Then there's the director's cut, which is like a 3-hour long one, which that'd be miserable.
No,
And,
Nathan's like, disagree.
and then there's something that like they called like the Ulysses cut, which
yeah,
is
so that's like
the
literally-
one you're supposed to watch
Yeah.
apparently, but it was on
Yeah, I couldn't
Netflix or
find
something.
it.
So
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
I didn't really look for it, but I don't think I could have
Was
found
one
it
on
as well.
It was on Hulu. If you have
Yeah.
the Star subscription, which you could get it for free for like a week.
For a 7
Ah.
minute.
Which I did the free trial, watched the movie, and then canceled it. So
Even
Sounds
after I
right.
told you the ways.
But yeah,
Nah.
at some point, I'm definitely going to get the DVD that has the Ulysses cut because I'm very interested to see what else.
that's the one
is
I would want to
missing.
see the most between
Yeah.
all the 3.
I mean, all things considered, this isn't a movie that I feel like if you add an extra hour on, it's going to get necessarily better. But there are parts, depending on the parts, I think
Yeah.
it gets sweet.
They
So,
do more on the Smokies apparently.
the smokers
Yeah.
would be good to flesh out more. Not that they weren't fleshed out efficiently. I think they were done fine.
Yeah, I think they were
Exactly.
fine.
But you could give them more screen time because they're entertaining. And I think the
Yeah.
other thing I really want to see more was just even the small interactions where you came in to across other traders in the water. Like I always thought getting
They gave
yeah.
you one.
Yeah, they give they give you like 1 or 2, right? They give you the really crazy one, and they give you that
Crazy
guy
one.
who
Oh,
steals
yeah,
it
that
off the bat.
crazy one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot
Right.
about him. Yeah.
So they give you that off the bat, and honestly, I really like the idea of the little lore and the rules of the trade and their own languages.
I
Like
don't-
that was, I
Like,
thought that was
I
interesting.
get all that, but all
Why are they
Kevin-
speaking their
all
own
of-
language?
all of Kevin Costner's interactions with these traders, like there's only 2
Yeah.
in the like theatrical cut, and they both try to rob him or kill him.
Yeah, there's-
like I
there's
don't
some-
think I would want to work with him.
yeah. They
He
very much
survived them all.
they very much imply that it's not the most solid of systems, but yeah, overall, I think we've talked quite a bit on what we liked and disliked about the movie. Let's get into the shape.
Okay, I'm
So-
ready for the shape. Let's talk
yeah.
about how round it is.
Let's talk about fat, thin, perfectly fit guys. In this one, you know how this goes.
You've gotten good at that.
I know it takes a while actually. You'd be surprised. But in this one, we talk about if the movie runtime is just too much, if it's fat, if it doesn't go long enough, and we wanted more, then it's thin. Perfectly fit, hits that sweet spot. Runtime matches what we get, and we feel like that's just perfect. Nathan, I'll start with you because yours probably the most interesting opinion.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
gauge it.
Yeah.
The theatrical cut.
The theatrical,
Theatrical
cut,
cut.
The theatrical cut. I guess I'll call it fit. I want more.
So you-
I want
thin?
the Ulysses cut.
No.
I want everything.
He's like, it's fit, but it could eat some calories.
This movie is such a great ride. Like
We're not
It's
doing
so
scores.
But, yeah, so I'm not going to say that anything needs to be cut out of it. I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
This is a fat movie.
There it is.
I do not know what 3 hours. No.
Let's
I
find
do not
out.
want that.
Let's-
Like I just want I want the Smokies and I want Kevin Costner's character.
Smokies.
I don't want
The little
Smokies. The smoker.
The little things.
You're thinking of the small wing.
You're
thinking of Dustin's
Dustin's favorite food, which he has
Pigs
been
in a
on here
blanket.
before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fat. Everything that has to do with the little girl and the other girl, I do not like. That's going to factor into my score majorly too. I didn't think they were needed at all. It wasn't. So fat.
It's definitely chubby. It's on the fatter side than it is on the fit side. I thought this movie was pretty solid, but there's definitely chunks in the middle. And to agree with Price, yeah, the parts where he's spending time with the daughter and the mom are definitely the parts where I tune out the least. I think it needs it for the pacing's sake, but overall they could pace it in other places. Again, like maybe more trader time or maybe more other places pre the girls come on, because then it's just the woman's bargaining chips. I don't know, that part feels very
That's
but
tough.
I would have liked it a lot more if like they cut the woman out entirely and just had the little girl.
Yeah, I mean,
like
the little
almost
girl
a
probably
Last
would've
of
been
Us.
better.
You know,
kind of thing.
I agree that
Yeah, I
think
probably
so.
actually would have been a
Because
pretty
the
good movie.
child actor I thought she was awesome.
Tina
Yeah.
Majoria or whatever her name is, she's Deb from Napoleon Dynamite.
She
Shout out
she's
to
Deb?
her.
Huh. Shout out to Deb from Napoleon
Shout out to her.
Well,
she's
she-
also on Grey's Anatomy.
She crushed it in the movie. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, she did.
when she was just harassing him the whole time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it felt genuine.
Insulting him.
I mean, that's what like a bratty kid would do.
8-year-old girl or a
Right.
6-year-old girl.
Rather
whatever.
than that, like that child actress from
Here we go.
no the horror
Here it
movies that we've
comes.
watched.
The
Gremlin movie?
Oh,
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Oh,
one.
Bailey Madison.
She just wanted to die. But anyway, so yeah,
Mason-
I thought that was gonna be my pick, and
Ma-
I'm glad it wasn't.
Mason Shape.
I'm gonna go chubby.
Okay. See, I'm like right in the middle. 'Cause, like, I agree. Towards the end of this movie, I was looking at it, trying to figure out how much time was left, and it was right around 2 hours. But at the same time, like, I think more traders would have been cool. I liked the whole like scene of it. I liked the girl, like you said. I probably could have done without the other woman, but I think at the same time, it's a package deal.
But it's yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna give it the fit just because like I would want more from some parts, but I would probably cut others.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird did not finish for me, but like I don't know, it's pretty fit.
That's fair.
I think the Ulysses thing. I'll watch this movie again at some point, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I wouldn't want to watch the same version, I guess, if there's other ones out there.
For sure. I don't think I would leap right into this movie again, pun intended. Hey, we're in the water still. So
Yep, I'm pruning.
You couldn't tell.
we're pruning for this review. Yeah, I would leap into this one, but I definitely need to see a different version, just to see the creative direction, what we get more of, what we get less of. But without further ado, guys, the boat's going by because we are in the ocean. So I'll wait for just 1 second, or I'll just get louder. Mason is going to the boat now. He is one with the water.
I want to drive the boat.
Fuck you guys.
Let's get into scores, guys. I think that sounds best. Mason, you want to start us off? Where did
Yeah.
you land on
Let's
this?
do it.
Where did you land?
Where am I?
on this? Where did you go?
That's a good quick.
I think he landed on Everest.
Boo.
So cool.
So cool. That's neat.
I like that they finally found land. I think that the movie itself, like, there's still no hope in this world. It's very bad, and there's only a matter of time before other people find it. I think this movie lands right at an 8. I don't think it can go much higher than that for me. It's fun. It's a cool ride. Like I said, all of the casting, even the people like on that, what'd you call it, atoll?
Yeah.
The island.
Yeah.
What'd you call me?
I think the people there were really cool, like how they were like skeptical, but also half of them were wanting to drown him or whatever. I don't know, like for an apocalyptic movie, I think this movie did it as well as it could have given the circumstances. Like I said, it does look old, but at the same time, it's all shot on water. Give it an 8. That's all I can give it. I think it's really cool though.
I'm gonna dip just a little bit below that water pun. So
Here we go.
We haven't done enough of those.
drip. I'm gonna go right at 7.5 with this movie. This-
What are you
That's what I was
thinking?
thinking, too. I was thinking 7.5.
Yeah, I was teetering on 7.5. Honestly, I had a pretty solid amount of fun, but it was not an 8 level of fun, and I definitely wouldn't give the 8 quality because there's bits of this movie that are long and that I'm disinterested in. Like, and I mean that's just the case. That's not going to bring it to an 8. I really need it to be a little bit more fit for that to be the case. But It was fun. The world was neat. The little, all the practical stuff that goes into it was sweet. The boat. Oh, just give me him just leaping around the boat all day. The boat is so cool.
I've seen that boat in person.
I believe you.
The
I
one
believe
that
that's
he
awesome.
had?
Did you?
Yeah, I think it was at Universal Studios
Did
for
you
a while.
see it before they tanked it or after? Was it tanked
It was
or pre-tanked?
they must have had multiple versions
Probably.
because the one that I saw was like a fully complete version of that.
Yeah,
boat.
and one of them is in Kevin Costner's dock right as we speak.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a waterbender.
All right, boys. All right. So
Get rowdy.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 for me. That's
I'm the
right.
Avatar.
Price, when you're done playing in your kiddie pool, can you please tell us your score?
When we talk about kiddie pool, I'm having to make sure you two don't float away like this guy.
Sorry.
I'm like
Okay.
a buoy.
Anyway, so
I gave my score. I guess I can go. Bye.
this movie, I mean, I said it's fat. I said that one of the love interest needs to go entirely, and that's a pretty big portion of the movie. So this movie is going to be a 4.5 for me, just because it's just a little bit below average for me. It's long. As Dylan hit it right on the head when he said it just has a lot of pacing issues that it doesn't really know what to do. Like its best climax is like 20 minutes into the movie, which I thought was really interesting, but it never hit that high note again. Like that whole like the actual climax on the smoky ship.
Yeah, that was like a vessel.
That
dude.
was
Yeah.
so unnecessary. Kevin Costner like is
If you grab him,
taking out.
and like yank him up and down.
Oh yeah.
Not you. You're not sitting
No,
on
no,
it.
no. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh yeah, you're doing it.
It actually kind of maintains me in the same spot.
Does it?
Yeah, strangely
That's
enough.
Like you're free. All right, so we back. Are we
Okay.
recording?
We're back. We're recording.
Price, I don't think it died
Price.
after your
My life jacket keeps getting messed up.
going up his butt.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, I gave this movie 4.5. I hope you heard it. I don't want to repeat it. Pass.
Okay, well, my go, and I'm gonna give this movie a 9.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
This is one of my favorite movies. I
think
know
Kevin
it's not a
Costner
perfect movie,
watches us.
so I'm not gonna try and say it's a 10.
Is that
It
your
couldn't-
swimming trunks?
Yeah, that's my swimming trunks.
Like I think I
Ask
got your
questions
butt.
later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great ride. I think it's one of the best Mad Max clones that have ever been made.
Ever.
And it's also just spectacularly interesting, everything else that was going on around this movie.
Yeah.
From the overblown budget to them taking all the steel in Hawaii. Like, it's amazing that this movie got made.
I'm actually really surprised that like it's not in the talks of like Jurassic Park. No offense, I don't think it's as good, but like that or
Oh, just for production alone?
yeah, like the make just it is. I see this movie as huge. Like
Yeah.
after you watch it, you're just like there has to be.
I've never heard of this movie before.
I
Nathan
hadn't
told us to
either
watch
until
it.
about 5 years ago. That was the
No.
first time I watched it. But
I've heard about it for a long time, but it's not ever one where I've just sat down and like watched from start to finish. I've seen chunks.
Oh,
like everyone's heard of
But-
Mad Max. Like,
of course.
That's
he
not to
has.
brag now. Like, I grew up in like a Mad Maxy house, so like that's gonna be like a thing. Like Mad Maxy pads were very much a thing in this house. So.
okay.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I see what you mean. Like for the overblown budget, like it was a very monumental film for
Right.
all of the things that it had to go through.
Well, that concludes our discussion of Waterworld.
Price, since you're so eager to tell us, what's our review for next week?
Does it have anything
Well,
to do with where we are?
keeping in the theme of water, and we were going to do it
That's
here,
not
but
a theme. It's just the
but
thing we're doing.
Somebody didn't watch the movie. It's this guy. It's this guy. He's the one who didn't. We're going to watch another animated movie. Go figure.
Shocker.
Or is
Nathan's
it-
going away for it.
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about it now.
Stay down there for about 43 minutes.
Yeah.
It's Ride Your Wave. It's also directed by the same guy who did The Night Is Short. So,
Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
yep,
Yep.
definitely him.
Williams.
Anyway, guys,
Yeah,
that's
Robin Williams.
That was bad.
Oh,
Why did I
come
say that?
on,
Mason.
Why did I say that?
You're awful. Anyway, guys, that's our show. Make sure to like and subscribe our channel and content. We are literally drowning to give you new footage, please.
Where
Like
will
the
we
show.
be next week?
Yeah, where will be next week? Maybe if we do like an Aladdin review, we'll go to literally Dubai or like India or something.
That'd be
like that.
sweet. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
I'm going to there. I'm not doing a podcast there.
We'll do Slumdog Millionaire while we're there.
We'd be in India. Anyway, guys, that's our show. Make sure to tune in next week for Ride Your Wave. Bye-bye.
I was bobbing up and down like a baby the whole time.
I know you were. I was holding those two goobers in my arms.
Goobers.